Raven, you almost sounded kind of vampire-ish. A little blur.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
I was getting my, what we do in the shadows on.
It's such a great show. I think I've only out of the 4 or 5 seasons we're up to now. I've only seen the first 2.
Didn't they? I think so. I don't know. You should watch the rest.
It is hilarious. I love the first 2 seasons. They are fantastic.
They are so funny.
And I really enjoy that kind of take on vampires. That just these old head vampires that are just kind of stuck in their ways and can't like progress past the Middle Ages in modern day New York. It's the best.
In the latest season, they actually make a vampire nightclub. So it's pretty interesting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And what's the guy's name? The emotional vampire?
Oh man.
It's like Stephen Thompson or something. They always refer to him as his first and last name.
It's good lord. There he is. Colin Robinson. That's right.
That's it. Colin Robinson. I know no less than 3 people who are emotional vampires. We've talked about them a couple times, just me and you. But no, this show is hilarious. And I think the dude that plays Nandor, like, he loves Nandor. He loves playing that character of Nandor. When he's out and about and someone recognizes him, he's like, yes, that is me, absolutely.
Dude, Matt Berry in the show, he kills it. He's so good. He's so funny.
Oh, Matt Berry is awesome.
Yes. He's such a... I love how, like, over the top his character constantly is. And they're always just like, what the fuck? It's such a great show. You really should go and
Yeah, I gotta catch up.
I was actually thinking about rewatching it again because I just love that show so much.
Well, all right. After I get done watching, what is the Secret Invasion? I have not watched all of it as the episodes have come out because I want to just watch them all. And then word around the campfire this week, the season finale, the word around the campfire is they just fumbled the ball at the 1-yard line.
Oh,
like it had potential, and then it just kind of just pooped out. And Kelly's seen them all, and she's like, I want to talk to you about it. I'm like, okay. And she's like, you need to watch it. I'm like, okay. She's like, no, you will watch it. And she just got on to me, like, literally right before I came in here to sit down. She was like, I want to talk to you. You had all day to get caught up, and you didn't watch anything. So
that's a good wife.
So apparently tomorrow I have to watch it so we can talk about it.
Very nice, very nice. I think tomorrow Chris and I are going to go watch a movie at a theater, and I'm excited. It's either between Barbie or the new Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
and I'm very excited. I do love Danny DeVito a lot, so I'm really leaning towards Haunted Mansion. That's my man's.
I think I'm going to see Ninja Turtles next week.
That sounds right.
I'm genuinely excited for the Ninja Turtles movie. The more I've seen the trailers, I'm just so excited, and I so genuinely wish that I could have recorded Alice saying this to me. She comes up to me, she's like, I have a question. I'm like, I know you do, child, because that's how she prefaces every question she asks me. She's like, you like Ninja Turtles, right? I say yes. She says, what's up with these Ninja Turtles? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, they just look like high school boys. And they act like they look and they talk and they act like high school boys. I'm like, Well, because they're teenage mutant ninja, but they don't look like any of the other Ninja Turtles we've ever seen. And I honestly, I didn't know how to address that. I just
Yeah. I
chuckled
mean, that's
because
fair.
it was such a teen thing to say.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm like, they actually look like teenagers instead of just like 20-year-olds.
Yeah. Exactly. Like what everyone is so used to of just like, yeah, this is what a normal teenager acts like. And it's like, that's played by a 30-year-old man.
Right, right. And I I think they really made a concerted effort with this movie to make sure that they cast the kids like the appropriate age. They were all in the same room and recorded together, you know. So a lot of them talking over each other and just kind of acting the way they do is because they're all in the same room together, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way that it should work out. Because, especially with like younger kids, they're just going to fuck around some too. And then it's like a good vibe. That's nice.
Yeah, and they genuinely kind of it's hard when you have teenagers in a room by themselves trying to act off of other teenagers that aren't in the room with them. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell there's kind of a disconnect. So I think this is
Yeah.
definitely the right thing to do.
Nice. Very nice. I'm sure Chris and I will probably see it at some point. Maybe. I don't know. We have been so busy, so we have not been able to watch like a lot of the new movies that have come out recently. We never got around to seeing the new Spider-Verse movie.
I haven't seen it either.
And I was so excited to see it.
Me too. Me too. And it's just one of them things like I just never could get around to seeing it.
Right. Like, you can take the girls to any movie, and they're just like, yeah, this is great. And then it's like, but what about myself? What am I doing for me?
Well, it also didn't help that Spider-Verse came out the same time as Guardians, came out the same time as literally everything hits in the world for us as far as like extracurriculars. So we're trying to do all of this stuff, and then I just never got around to it, and now I'm just waiting for it to come out on digital so we can watch. Like literally our whole family is just waiting for it to come out on digital.
That's fair.
So we'll get there.
Nice. How you been doing, Mark? How's your week been going?
Busy, not too extraordinary, just busy. Work stuff. I made the mistake at work by thinking I wasn't going to have anything to do on one day. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. I was like, oh man, I think I'm caught up with everything. Like today should be pretty chill. Just, answer a couple emails, be really relaxed. And then like no sooner than I thought that over the next 30 minutes, it was, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, and then was busy the rest of the day. So,
Very nice.
But it's all good. It's part of the job. Yeah, it's been all right. What about you, Raven?
Mine has also been super busy. I was getting off work late pretty much every day this week, and it sucked. I only had to work like really 4 days because my Friday was supposed to be a van maintenance day, but then the guy that normally does our oil changes and stuff, he was like, I'm going to be out of town that week. I can do you next week. And my boss is like, but we have it scheduled off, so then this person can't groom, blah, 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 blah. And so, like, we were able to get things to work, and then I just cleaned the vans on Friday, so not that bad.
Word.
So, I'm having, like, an extended weekend, because I got off at, like, 11 o'clock on Friday. And so now I'm just,
Ooh.
like, paranoid, though, that I have the wrong day. Like, yesterday felt like Saturday, today felt like Sunday, so tomorrow I'm going to wake up with just, like, that tiny bit of anxiety of, like, I know I'm supposed to be at work today. I know it's not actually Sunday. Somehow, Chris has fucked with my phone. But yeah, we went to one of the guys that Chris works with. They have corgi and dachshund, and I went and I did some grooming stuff on them today. It is hot down here in
Yeah.
Tennessee. Oh my lord, it has been the high 90s this week. And of course, we chose to go at noon. So we were getting that dog done, dripping sweat. And then I was like, all right, dude, I better get some water now, or I'm going to be so angry and cranky. And so we found a bar, chug some water, chug a few beers, go get lunch at a nice Mexican restaurant. I chug another margarita and another water. And then I came home and took a fat nap. So it's been a good day.
Man, I have discovered that my brain, um, it's like, hey, you are tired, and I hope you know that you are tired, and um, after that, you're going to go lay down, and then you're going to think about one thing, and then you will not be tired anymore. You will be just about asleep, and you'll be like, hey, what about this one thing? And then you'll check it real quick, and you're like, nope, I'm awake. Can't go back to sleep.
Yep.
It's a vicious cycle. I hate it so much.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you on that. I feel that so hard. One of these nights, I didn't sleep, but for like 3 hours after working probably like 10 hours of being in a van with the dogs, and it gets a little humid in there sometimes, especially with this week being so hot. So the AC felt like it was never cool enough. And
Mm-hmm.
then I slept for 3 hours because I ended up watching a movie and crocheting and then just watching a whole bunch of like YouTube. And Chris came home and was like, "Why are you still awake? You're going to be so angry tomorrow." And I was like, "That's okay. I'll probably be a little loopy." Because sometimes that's what happens. Is I just, it's what he likes to call my manic stages, where I'm awake, but I'm a little crazy. Not gonna lie. Like I can function right, but I feel like my eyes are just wide the whole time. Like I'm like, hello? Is everything okay? It's just one of those days. And then I went home and crashed afterwards, so it was nice.
Oh, let's talk about this week's movie. Let's go ahead and jump into this thing.
Sure, yeah.
All right, so this week's movie, random movie that I picked out on Netflix because for some reason the algorithm was like, "Oh hey, um, I hear that you like movies, so other than anime, for some reason, like I don't know, the Netflix algorithm was like, oh hey, you remember that one time you watched the anime movie series and you kind of liked it? So here's nothing but anime. We're not going to show you anything else. And then that one time that your kids watched Coco Melon like 3 years ago because
Oh,
you were like, oh hey, there's this thing called Coco Melon. I don't know what it is. Let me watch like 5 minutes of it. And now it's nothing but like kids, crazy kids stuff. Yeah, I guess the algorithm finally caught up with me because it just started showing me movies that I was like, where did this come from? And one of those movies was a movie from 2021. So it's a 2-year-old movie that I just discovered last week, starring
no.
Debbie Ryan from Jesse, called Night Teeth, a vampire movie of all things, which I love vampire movies. Directed by Adam Randall, who I don't think has done anything else like notably kind of where I could be like, oh yeah, you would know him from this. Um, but yeah. So Raven, what did you think of the thriller vampire flick Netflix special Night Teeth starring Debbie Ryan?
Um, yeah, I think I had seen when it had like first come out that it did come through on my algorithm. I think so. Uh, I like Debbie Ryan. She's married to one of the guys in 21 Pilots. And so she like promoted it for a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I get around to watching that at some point. It was actually, I think, better than I was expecting it to be. Like, it's a little campy. It's a little fun. Um, I was kind of confused for a good minute of it because I was just like, what the heck is going on? These ladies are just like constantly like, we're going here. Let's go. They're over there just doing their thing, bringing this poor random guy along to go slaughter some head leaders around wherever the heck they're living. What did you think of this movie?
This movie on IMDb has a 5.7 out of 10. And I feel that is absolutely appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is completely like middle of the road. Almost like it just can't figure out if it wants to be Twilight or Vampire Diaries or more than that, or if it wants to be like harder and edgier or whatever. It just seems like just so middle of the road. Like when you go to a friend's house to eat food and you're like, this isn't bad. Maybe the next bite will be better. And you eat your whole plate of food. That's that way. That's the way I felt about this whole movie. It was just like, maybe the next bite will be, maybe that'll give me like that kind of taste that I'm looking for. And I just never got there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fine, but I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again. And I can't really like pinpoint any necessarily bad thing about it. It was just like a teenage vampire movie.
Yeah.
And the more I was thinking about this, like, how am I going to talk about this? I just kept getting more and more angry at it for no reason. You know?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, I'm trying to follow along. Things just keep, like, kind of flipping back and forth. And I was a few drinks in. I'm not even going to lie. So I'm like, what? They keep talking about one guy, and I'm trying to remember who the other guy is. And then I'm trying to remember what this actual guy's name is, because he's not Jay. He's, Jay's brother. They're just
right.
Benny. That
Benny.
was his name. And I was just like, who the heck are all these people? And then they keep talking about Victor. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I felt like I was struggling to kind of like keep up for some reason. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't super like hard to figure out. Like I'd have to be like, which one's which? What's this guy's name again? Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
That's how I
don't
just
do a
felt.
good job of like setting up like what we're doing in the movie. Like they try to, but they don't do a good job. It's like, okay, here's this and here's kind of what's at stake and what these other, what these two vampire socialites are doing and who Victor is and why Victor's important. Like we know that Victor's kind of like our main big bad guy, but at the same time, like he hasn't really done anything for me to be like, oh yeah, that's right, I need to worry about this dude.
Right.
Like he hasn't really shown any kind of immense, I don't know, power, both physical and kind of, mafioso crime family style.
Yeah.
And, and here's the way I picture this movie in my brain. Was this is the kind of vampire movie that I would expect the girls who are portrayed in this movie, like Blair and Zoe, like their caricatures of like the Beverly Hills socialite. This is the vampire movie that I would expect Beverly Hills socialites to be like, you know what we should do today, Kenzie? We should totally see a vampire movie. What vampire movie should we see? I don't know. I heard this movie called Night Teeth starring Jesse. We should totally watch that. And they're like, yes. And then they watch it like, that was a swell vampire movie, Jesse. You know, like that's what I hear in my brain as I was watching this. Because it's like, oh my God, they're totally vampires. It's crazy. She got blood all over her purse.
Dude, people kept like worrying about that one like little tiny spot of blood that was apparently on Benny's collar the whole time, and I was like, I don't even see it. Am I just crazy?
Right.
Like they'd be like, oh, what, are you okay? What you been up to? And he's just like, bro, get me out of here.
Right. Everyone was so focused on that. I'm like, the prop designer could have like given him just a little bit more of a blood stain to where it would have been way more noticeable.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what do I know? We're just podcasters, Raven. What do we know?
Probably nothing. Let's be real. We've never made a movie. We've never been in a movie. We just watch them and talk shit on them. If they're not great.
What'd you think of Bootleg Jack Black at the very, very beginning? I straight up for a second thought the professor in like, I think he was in like the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I straight up thought Jack Black made a cameo.
I honestly forgot about that little part that, he was in college and just like, oh, there's that girl behind me that I like and her piece of shit boyfriend. And they just randomly pop up in the movie. And I'd be like, what's the point of this? Because she's kind of a bitch too. Because she's,
Everyone's terrible in this movie.
Yeah. Name one good, genuine person in this movie. You can't.
And then, like, I'm really kind of confused at the end. Hold on. We're jumping around. We haven't even got to the whole Megan Fox of the whole thing yet. Who, I don't know what the hell Megan Fox is doing in this movie. I don't know if that's good for the movie or bad for Megan Fox that she's in this movie.
Yeah, when Megan Fox just, like, pops in and she's there for, like, barely anything, and you're just like, what was the point of this? Y'all could have got someone, like, probably lower tier than Megan Fox. I mean, they probably wanted good enough actors to kind of bump it, but, like, when the movie's not really, following a great, like, track, it's just, it doesn't matter who you get in a movie like that. I was trying to look and see where, if I could find the professor. Oh, here he is.
Yeah, his name is Robert Laravier. And he just seems to be like one of these bit actors. Yeah. Like, he's been in a bunch of stuff, but nothing ever, he is that guy. Like, oh yeah, it's that guy from that movie. So should you have seen him in Cool Dog, Memphis Beat, or Jeff Who Lives at Home, you'd be like, oh snap, you're that guy.
Oh, me. Of course I've seen all of those. They're all my favorite.
You're the bank manager. You're the bank manager in Big George Foreman. Oh, I think I don't want to talk shit on the dude because he is a working actor, and I'm very happy for him. But I also got a feeling that he is also the dude who very much that the SAG people are striking for.
Yeah.
Like, he's consistently working. He looks like he's consistently working, but they're all bit parts. Just like, oh, he's on 1 or 2 episodes of a particular show, and he's probably, not getting a fair rate for all of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Support your local actors.
Support them, guys. SAG for the win. So yeah, I'm also very confused about how this car does car things. Apparently when you automatically start it, it just automatically goes into drive. Like, we don't even have to,
you know.
Just,
Wait, are you talking about the scene where it like? Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
the very end of the movie, um, uh,
Just
where
crash the
he
car.
crashes the car through the window, and this is something that always bugs me about vampire movies is we we don't have a solid rule on how much sunlight kills a vampire. And apparently, it has to be um, direct sunlight. That's what kills them. It can't be reflective sunlight or just ambient sunlight. It has to be absolutely direct sunlight. Um, and yeah, yeah. I'm again very confused about all this because my man turned on, hit the button on the car, auto crunk it up, and the thing was like, cool, drive mode engaged. And
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Hey, maybe there was a special button to put it in drive, you know? We didn't get a good look at the key fob.
that's true. That's true. We did not, but I don't think um, Cadillac has that feature um, in this clearly unmarked. We are not paying for Cadillac rights in this movie because we don't have it in the budget to do so.
Fair.
What else?
Oh, you
Um,
want to talk about your main man Rocco? That
oh,
other vampire that was like
which one is Rocco? Oh,
yeah.
the Viking dude. Oh God, this dude.
I knew you would have something to say about this guy. There's
I
no way that there's like no opinion on him.
it makes me sad that I know too many people like this person,
Yeah.
and I'm sure the actor is a very nice guy. I'm sure he is probably just a sweetheart. But I hate people like this, and I hated this character so much. Like, it literally made my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Just, he is the kind of person that I've met so many places. He's like, duh. He gets all up in your face, and he's like, what, man? What? You want to fucking fight? You want to do this, that? Nah, I'm just fucking with you, dude. And I'm just like, God, I hate you so much. Like, I really just want to just punch you in your throat, when you know that if you did, they would just whoop the shit out of you, and that is just a terrible feeling where they're just trying to just egg you on. Oh, I hate that motherfucker so much. So yeah, no, I hate that person. I'm glad he eventually died. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, that whole like first little bit where you meet him, I was like cringing at. I was like, "Oh, no. You don't have to do all this just to then be like, I was just kidding, man. Come on in."
yeah. What you being so uptight for, man?
Hee hee ha ha. I did such a good joke. I thought that he understood we were doing a bit.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. I'll just head back out. I don't even have to go in. Thanks.
Right. And you never meet that person in like a natural situation. You always meet that person as like, oh yeah, we know this guy. Hey, Rocco, this is Mark. Mark, this is Rocco. You always meet them through someone else. Like, you don't ever like actually just like, oh hey man, you're cool. What's your name? Oh man, my name's Rocco. Like, you don't ever meet people like that. It's always like through a friend of a friend, and next thing you know, you're like, he's the guy who's doing lines off the bar, and doing
Ugh.
everything short of getting the cops called on him.
He's the dude doing lines in the bar bathroom, Mark. Let's get it straight.
Yeah, sorry.
Probably off the toilet seat.
Probably. Well, no, he's totally seems like the type of person who would do it in front of everybody. Like, he wouldn't be
Oh,
as discreet
true.
as to like go into the bathroom to do it. He'd be like, he'd be in the back of the bar or somewhere, but still very much out in the open. And he's like, "What, man? Hey, man, you want to party?" I'm like, "Nah, man, that's not my thing." "Oh, man, what are you, some kind of pussy?"
Right. Right. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Um. Uh. The What happened to the people in the basement?
The basement? The basement?
The basement full of people that had things hooked up to their necks that they were draining their blood.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to them?
Hey, they went on to live very happy lives in their little tanks.
Yeah, I'm sure they got ate up by the plot monster. You know, the big plot monster that takes care of all things that we don't have to worry about anymore. I had so many questions about this. There was, this movie in general. There was the people in the basement who are getting drained. I want to know their stories. We ain't got to go into too deep a thing, but I want to know what the end goal here was, because there was a lot of people down there getting blood drained. Like, is there vats of blood somewhere? Like, what are we doing with all this blood?
And in my head, I was thinking of it as when you walk into like a bar and they have beer on tap.
Well, he had blood on top. You remember?
That's why I was like, I guess that's what it is. But how do you choose? Is it like a mixed pool? What if you're like, no, I'm going for some like AB positive right now? You only have O.
I would have loved for there to be a scene where it's just like, oh man, listen, we got all kinds of blood on tap. Like we got white guys, we got black guys, we got Indian. If you want something a little spicy, we got Mexicans. Just start running through it. I think that would have been a fun scene. Just whatever you want, we got it. And then like show the taps the taps downstairs, going to the guys. So, I also want to know more about the vampire hierarchy of like, apparently they had like the 5 families of vampires, I want to know more about this infrastructure here. Maybe that's just the nerd in me, but I don't think that a bunch of elder vampires are going to go down that easy.
Mark. They got taken out by, some pretty girls. And they stole their money too. So that's all you have to know, is that these girls, these girls are it, Mark. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
you don't have to see the big bosses. You just know that, they're doing something behind the scenes. Okay.
What else? What else was I just like watching this going, I can't even believe this. We don't ever go back to, you mentioned this, we don't ever go back to like he's in college and he seems like a really smart dude. Mm-hmm. Trying to get through college, like that never really comes up. Like he doesn't do anything where he's like, oh hey, I'm smart, or he does like music stuff later on. Like that just is like kind of like a weird side talking point whenever Blair is trying to put the moves on him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, there's all like this cool backstory that we just never kind of get to. It never pays off in any way.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you see him like reading one of his textbooks for like a little bit where he's just like, I'm waiting on these ladies. And then he finds like homegirl's phone and the bag of money.
Yeah.
And then that was like it. It was like, oh, I'm not in college anymore. I'm just a dude.
What do you think of Abuela?
I feel like she was too young to be Abuela.
No.
No. I looked at her like regular, just like herself, and I was like, she doesn't look that old. She doesn't look like she needs to be someone's grandma. Damn. She seemed like a sweet abuela.
She was.
Leave that woman alone. She ain't got to get fed to no vampires.
Right. No, I like how she was just like, listen, I don't want grandbabies.
I did like that. That Debbie Ryan was just like, oh, he's okay. And she's just like, oh. Okay. Yeah.
Oh man. Uh, is there anything else? I'm trying. I feel like we've dunked on this movie pretty good.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was like, I don't know if there's anything else that's like noteworthy enough.
Yeah. Oh,
There's,
the flaming crossbows. I wanted to talk this up. This was
oh,
something
okay.
they never explain. They never bring up. They never say, "Hey, we're hunting them with magical." Just they could have literally explained that with one line, like, "Oh man, we got these magical things." These were magical arrows and a crossbow,
Yeah.
and yeah, hit old girl in the chest, and again, plot armor protects her. She's the only, I guess, because she is a named vampire. She doesn't disintegrate immediately. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But she looks rough.
oh yeah,
You
she
like
looked
look at
rough.
her and you're like, oh, well, fuck. But somehow you gonna make it alive.
Oh.
Did you see the movie Day Shift?
Yes, yes, I did.
Yeah. I feel like that was also a Netflix movie, wasn't it?
It
I'm pretty
was.
sure it was. That was a better Netflix vampire movie. I get that that one
I
was
think
made
so.
more recently. Um, but if they stick to whoever wrote that and directed it, that person has a better vision than what we really watched.
Yeah. Well, it was it. Yeah, and it did like that kind of good job of like, okay, here's the world we're living in. Here's everything that you need to know for like our kind of story that we're going to tell. Basically, we're a union. We we pay. We're vampire hunters. We're in a union. We pay. Um, here's how our structure for everything works. There's all these dens, and now there's a big master den because there's a power struggle. Cool. That's it. Um, and it doesn't seem to get overly complicated. And this one seems to try to be like there's a lot of lore and backstory that's left on the cutting room table somewhere, be it in the
Hmm.
script or in the editing bay. There's a lot more story to be told, and they just tried to fit it in and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right, well, let's go ahead and let's move on. Let's wrap this thing up and let's move on to my favorite part of the week, where I ask you, Raven, where you tell me what has made you happy this week.
Dude, I am very excited. I hate summer. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I hate summer. But you know what happens in summer is you go around and you go to some stores and you start to see fucking Halloween shit. And that's my jam right there. I have already seen so many stores that have Halloween stuff and it's getting me amped. I am very sad to say I will not be getting the 12-foot skeleton again this year because they sold out so fast. It makes me so upset. I really want one of those stupid things, but it's okay. One year, it'll be my time. And Chris was like, where would we put it anyway? In our apartment. And I'm like, don't worry about it. He can sit in the bedroom if he needs to. But yeah, I am getting jazzed up because I love buying Halloween stuff because I use it as just regular decor around wherever I live. Yeah. So that's what's made me super happy is that I got to see Halloween stuff, and I know that at some point this horrible heat will go away, and in 2 months it'll be my favorite time of the year where nobody makes like weird comments about, hey, why's your backpack got wings? Most people don't actually mind my backpack, to be honest. They're just like, oh, it's one of these wannabe goth kids. Yeah, that's me. Thanks. I love my little backpack and I carry it year round because I love Beetlejuice. Anyways, Mark, do you want to tell the people here? Tell me What's made you happy this week?
It's been a very long time. Actually, it's been about 5.5 years since I have changed jobs at my work, and I love the job I'm in now. It is very busy at times, and it is very whenever I'm kind of on point or got in a good groove, it feels good to be good at my job. But I just recently put in for a higher position at my job, at the same job in a different office, and it was like, okay, cool. And there's all like these weird steps because this is a government job. It's very weird how they do it. I'm not real sure. But basically I've passed the initial steps. So basically a real live person gets to read my resume, and say, hey, we might want to take this person. And I'm kind of jazzed about it because I haven't done any kind of interview or really put in for a job in the past 5.5 years, when literally the 10 years previously I was putting in for jobs all the time just to try to get out from the job I was in, which was, turning wrenches on airplanes. I was just trying so desperately to get out of that job. And when I got this one, I was just like, oh man, let me just sit here and hang out for a second. And, now I'm looking to progress a little bit, and it feels good just to kind of be like, oh yeah, like you are, at least on paper as of right now, you're doing the dang old thing. So yeah, that's a good feeling. And talking with my supervision that I have now, because I don't technically have an interview to go interview for it. I mean, I might not even make the cut, which is fine with me. But we got to talking in my office, in my cube, and I said, I wonder if I could like go and get the interview questions that I had for this particular job that I'm in and all of my coworkers are in, and I could see like how good I would do on that interview now, because it is such the questions that we were asked for that interview, a lot of them were questions that you wouldn't have any frame of reference on, like how to answer them correctly had you not been in that job. Mm-hmm. And I remember I walked into my boss's office and said, hey, do you have the questions that I had for my interview when I interviewed for this job like 5 years ago? And he turned around and looked at me and he goes, I can't give you those questions. There's people that interview for this job. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, okay, let's say that I was to do an interview for GS11. Can you like give me like a roundabout way of what these questions would ask? He was like, oh yeah, sure. They talk about this and this and this and this. And I was like, I'd be able just to murder that interview right now. He didn't tell me exactly what it was, but all of them kind of follow like the same kind of format. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself. How good do you communicate and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I absolutely would kill that interview now if I was to do something similar. So yeah, I guess I did finally learn my job and do it well and all that other good stuff. So
very nice. That's cool. It's always nice to have like a job that you're like, oh, thank God, I'm glad I'm here. But like, I could always elevate myself and be glad I'm somewhere else, So well, good for you.
The funny thing is as I've told, we've had this conversation in our office, and our office does a lot of work, just kind of the nature of what we do and how we do it, and we are constantly doing new things, and we kind of, and like I said, I work in a very good office with very good supervision. Mm-hmm. And we have a meeting like once every 2 weeks where I'll just kind of sit down and just kind of, talk about things, and it could be whether we got gripes or whatever, and our first and second lines are there, and all of that. And I mean, my second line supervisor lives in the neighborhood with me, and like last weekend I went and helped him change a tire on his car.
Nice.
So that's real good. But I brought up to some of the new guys. I was like, man, there's no other office full of, similar jobs that is as busy as us. You can't tell me any different. And just so happened one of my bosses was walking by and I snagged him. I'm like, do you know anything about the other offices? Like, the other airframes or components or whatever that get worked on, are they anywhere near as busy as us? He's like, oh no, not even a little. Like they're bored to tears. Like, how so? He's like, everything's already taken care of because our office brings new equipment on to into the government, and everyone else is just managing stuff that already exists. So they're just like, yep, cool, it's there. You got a question, just hit me up. But other than that, like, it's just there chilling. So yeah, it's so much different. If I was to get another job in a different office, I would probably be bored to tears.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want that.
Yeah.
So, but I still want to do the interview.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm done rambling. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh.
The people understand because they probably have similar, feelings.
Go out there, pursue your dreams, y'all. So I'm gonna work this week on trying just to film stuff and cut it up into like a cohesive, like 5-minute video. I don't know what it's gonna be about, but a friend of mine at work did it. I convinced her to get back into doing it. So now I inspired her, and now she is inspiring me to do it. So I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't even know what platform it's gonna come out on. So
Ooh.
y'all just yeah.
Fun.
We filming stuff.
Yeah.
For no reason. All right, Raven, where can they find you?
Hey guys, you can find me on Instagram at That's a Raven Ellis. I'm still on Twitter. It hasn't changed over to X yet, so we're hanging out. That's at spooky_Raven. You can find our lovely Podcoast. Yep. You know what? That's what we are.
Yep.
We're a Podcoast.
Podcoast.
We're coasting on fumes. You can find the podcast on whatever you want to look for at Nerd for No Reason. Mark, let them people know where you are.
Let's see. I am at Turtles Do It on Threads, Instagram, and X for now. So yeah, hit me up there, man. At Turtles Do It. I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of post more on the Turtles Do It Twitter and Threads, trying to engage y'all more and kind of generate some more buzz. So yeah, y'all come and check us out.
Yeah. If you guys, listen on any of your little podcast apps, leave us a review, leave us a rating. We want to know what you're thinking about us. We want to know how we can elevate. Just give us a little feedback. That'd be nice. We do nice things for you. Like, talk about whatever. What do you want us to talk about? Tell us a movie. Tell us, something in the news that you're like, hey guys, what if you brought this up? Okay, sure, thank you. We'd love that.
And with that, go and do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys go enjoy the coolest medias, and we'll see you again here next week on this Nerd for No Reason podcast. Goodbye.
Whoop whoop. Goodbye, everybody.